Hi, I'm Rick Michelle and welcome to Video Connect. I come across people in my daily travels and it surprises me somewhat that most people have absolutely no idea the work involved in creating a professional video. So my first blog is called Anatomy of a Video. Some of you will be thinking, there's not much to be making a video, just point the camera and push record. And they would be right, to a point. If you're taking shots of the family Christmas get-together or your child's birthday party, yeah, point and shoot is going to be just fine. If it's slightly underexposed, who's going to care? Or it has an orange or blue or yellow tinge to it, no one cares. Out of focus slightly, wind noise rushing over the mic, no one is going to be too overly concerned. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say, you'll probably be told by family members, what a great video you did, without ever knowing any of the flaws that are actually in the video. But what about someone being hired to produce a video for a special event, a business promo, or to shoot an interview, a real estate walkthrough, or a luxury holiday rental? No one is going to pay you if your shots are out of focus, overexposed footage, bad audio, poor framing, and so on. So just what does it take to produce a professional video good enough that someone will be happy to pay you? Well, apart from the very first contact, there's at least 2 meetings, if not a whole bunch more. Now, why so many? The first meeting is to find out what kind of video the client wants or needs. And for the most part, they are relying on you to guide them. But we have to find out the main objective they are wanting to achieve. Now, this is a lot harder than it sounds, because believe it or not, many don't even know what it is they want out of a video. So we get the client to start thinking by asking certain questions. We're also trying to come up with a brief. That's to protect me, but also to bring clarity and focus to the overall vision of the video. We also need to nail down the approximate amount of time to be spent on producing the video. Now, before I can greenlight a project, I need to know in which direction to proceed. This is the very reason for a brief. Now, this protects the video producer from drastic changes in the middle of a project. It's simple. We follow the brief. I get some clients to look for and watch videos on YouTube that parallel their own business, and in turn, they are to let me know what they liked about that. Now, this can be hugely beneficial for both the client and the video producer. Now, at this point, the client is usually overwhelmed with information, and I leave them with writing up a brief, finding YouTube videos to watch, and to start thinking of shots that they may want in their video. Gets them thinking, gets them over ownership. I give them examples of ideas so they can in turn come up with their own ideas and help in coming up with some of the shots used in the video. The second meeting is to finalize the brief, gather the URLs of the YouTube videos, and we start to talk about the kinds of shots we are going to capture. We call this the shot list. It can be several pages long, but spells out almost every shot that will be required in the creation of the video. Producing the shot list is mostly done by the video producer and can take several hours to put together. The most important thing that the shot list does is to streamline the actual production of capturing the footage and saves enormous amounts of time in the long run. It's simply a very organized and efficient way to proceed. Now, there are several more short meetings, and these are usually through emails, over the phone, or Skype. All this to get ready for the big day, the shoot, to actually capture the footage for the video. Now, this is super exciting for the client. Things are happening, things are getting done, readying cameras, setting up the lighting, miking up the talent, going over the script. It's a lot of fun. We usually capture the footage for the video in less than a day. Now, the dailies take up the rest of the day. Dailies come about from Hollywood, where it goes for weeks and maybe even months. Every day, things have to be done at the end of the day, and these are what's called the dailies. Now, the dailies for me are the most boring part of the entire production, but the first most important step. Now, this involves uploading all the footage to the computer. This alone can take 2 or 3 hours. There can be hundreds of gigabytes of data to upload. The average amount of data for a video capture on a production for me is between 50 and 100 gigabytes. I know it sounds like a lot. Now, every single clip, and there can be 50 or even 100 separate clips, has to be renamed and organized into a file. Otherwise, it's impossible to navigate. I literally watch every single clip, rename it, and put it in an organized filing system. Now this can take several hours, but again, will save huge amounts of time when editing. I know just where to go if I need that certain clip. Now without that organization, it's simply pure chaos. Okay, now I need to collect from the client any logos, types of fonts to be used in titles, color schemes, JPEGs and graphics, music tracks, scripting for voiceover, sound effects, everything I might possibly need extra, etc. Now the fun starts. Because I've already gone through each clip when doing the dailies, I pretty much know how the video is going to be put together. I start with each clip in a special window in my editor and do what is called a rough cut. I then transfer this to the timeline where the actual video is crafted. Now it still needs to be tightened up on the beginning and ends of the clips, but that comes later. Now I do this with each of the clips until most, if not all, of the rough video is on the timeline. If there is music, I now tighten and cut to the beat of the music, or I follow the voiceover so that everything fits and smoothly flows from beginning to end, adding the background music later. The trick here is to create a nice natural flow and a feel to the video. Now this takes hours and hours and can take up to several days sometimes. Now comes editing the audio tracks. You can't have music overpowering the voiceover track, so it's adjusted and tweaked. Okay, you can't have clipping. Now clipping is distortion of the audio, and even the professionals get some distortion now and again. We may have to soften the gain on certain peaks or just the levels. If there are unwanted sounds, like the hum from an air conditioner or a fridge or the sound of a plane, these have to be removed, and I remove these using a specialty plugin software. All the audio tracks are tweaked and adjusted so everything sounds just right. Now this usually goes fairly quickly, 2 or 3 hours. Next comes the color grading. Each and every clip used, I adjust the exposure, I adjust the color temperature, the hue, the saturation, midtones, whites and blacks, and all while visually monitoring with special scopes to obtain as perfect as possible the correct color. This can take several hours to complete. Now, at this stage, it's considered the first draft, and it's sent to the client for revision. Now, unless otherwise specified, there are only 2 revisions allowed, the first one being the most drastic. The second revision usually consists of just a minor change or 2. Now realize here, one change that seems very simple to the client can mean hours and hours and hours of work in the editing room. That one change can have a domino effect on everything else in the video. This is the very reason the number of revisions are strictly limited to 2. We go about making the changes for the first revision, and again it is sent off for approval, or maybe that slight alteration. When we do get the finished video and the client is happy, we can now deliver the video in the format the client wants, or several different formats depending on where the client will be distributing the video. So from start to finish, there can be days of work, if not a week or 2, to craft a professional video. And that's it. The anatomy of professional video. Job done. For the professional video producer, it's a bit more than point and shoot. Remember, you get what you pay for. I'm Rick Bushell, and this is Video Connect. If you like the content in my blog, you might consider opting in. Click the link below and fill out your details. There's much more to come.